Well, this day has been all over the place. We got the sprayer out. I'm not really going to say anything about what... It's kind of interesting about the sprayer right now. I'm not going to say anything, but pretty interesting is all I'll say. Morning, guys, and welcome. Are you coming in? Alright, you are. Welcome back to Werner Farms. So, we want to get a whole bunch of our empty P.O boxes that we own buried behind these boxes of seed and these couple pallets of seed over to a neighboring rep so he can go ahead and start treating all of our customers' beans that need to be treated. We partner with him just because we don't sell enough volume bean-wise to justify a bulk system. Someday, if we sell a few more units of beans, I would like to just get a box-to-box treater. I think they make that from USG, I believe it is. I'm going to work on getting some of those out just to see if they need to be pressure washed out. I think they just need to be rinsed out, not pressure washed. Most of those, if not all of those, held rye last year. Dad tweaked his back yesterday, and so he will not be able to help lift the P.O boxes, the tops, because it takes two people to do this. And yes, they do make an attachment for like the skid steers or forklifts where it will actually flip the P.O box for you and unflip the P.O box. That, I believe, is like $3,000. We've never been able to really justify or see a need for it until probably this moment. Sprinkle, and we're only supposed to get a little shower here. Dad is working on trying to figure out exactly how many empty boxes we need to take over to the neighbors and to get treated. We've got a whole bunch of untreated beans to go over there. There's a skid of 33 bags for a customer that are untreated. that we're just going to dump in an empty P.O Box and have them treated. That way they're in a box form, and that way they get treated for them. And then there is a skid somewhere of 45 bags that are our beans that are untreated that we want to get treated. So we got to dump those in a box. So we got to get about 80 bags of beans dumped in 2 boxes here pretty soon. And as soon as I can find them here. And then once the shower passes over, we will take these on over to the neighbors. And I don't know if he's going to want more beans today or not, but we shall see. Got 2 loads of beans over to the neighboring rep and stopped by John Deere and got my snap ring. So now I can finally get both of these gauge wheels put on, and all the gauge wheels will finally be back on the planter. That'll work. Cool. That was an easy fix. So we also took delivery of 11 more bags of seed. That should be pretty much the tail end of what we need to fulfill orders and for in-season supply. We also took delivery, just a part of a load. I guess tomorrow they're bringing down quite a bit more fertilizer from Michigan. But I think there's, what, 4, 5, 6, yeah, 7 totes over here. Most of this is ours. I think 2 or 3 of these shuttles over here go to a neighbor. This is going to be the Quadrant RS. Quadrant RS is actually a product that we helped develop also, based on our soil tests for zinc, boron, manganese, and magnesium early on. Basically, RS stands for row support. This was all built based off of our soil tests and knowing the soils in our neighborhood, that we really need to be hitting the boron and the magnesium pretty hard, even though if you send our soil tests into A&L Labs, based on A&L Labs, our magnesium levels show high, even though relatively they're not high enough for what we need to be pushing on as far as yields go. So that's what Quadrant is. Like I said, it's got boron, chelated zinc, chelated manganese, and chelated magnesium. If you guys can see that, it does say sugar complex on there. We do have sugar mixed with that. Sugar complex is basically sugar with humic acid. Basically, that is going to help increase the metabolism of the plant, to help increase nutrient uptake, basically for better utilization efficiency of nutrients. So that is why we're running a gallon of sugar with that. So use rate on this mix is 1.5 gallon to the acre. So we're going to be running that on most of the acres. We're going to have a 100-acre check running without any Quadrant with sugar, just to see what basically Quadrant with sugar brings to the table. But for what we're seeing on all of our soil tests, this is going to be a good answer for us, and along with a lot of neighbors in the area. So we're going to be running a lot of that this year. We're actually going to be running some of this Quadrant RS with sugar during side dress. Down on Grandma's, a field that we're going to play with NCGA wise, we're going to be running 32 ounces of Quadrant with a quart of boron. And then on all of our acres, we're going to be running microfeed at a gallon with sugar complex at a gallon. But then on 40 acres, 2 20-acre checks, we're going to do 2 quart of Quadrant, exact same rate that you're going to run in 2x2 on fertilizer for planting. So it'll be really interesting to see how that all pans out. and hopefully we see some really good positive results. So like I said, that is just part of everything what we need. We actually have a pallet of in-furrow in here as well. Most of it is ours. 50 gallon of it goes to a neighbor. And the premium in-furrow, it's mostly zinc. There's some magnesium, there's cobalt, there's sugar, sugar complex. And I'm trying to think of everything else that's in it, but we've been running that for about 10 or 11 years now and have seen great results with that. We do have a tote of it out there for ourselves. I wanted to put the soybean in furrow in 2x2.5 since we're not running 1034.0. Okay, where did Dad end up putting that? It was in the shed in here. I'm losing. Okay, there it is, back there. So there's some premium in furrow. So most of that is ours. Like I said, some of that goes to a neighbor. As we get more product here, like I said, tomorrow they're going to be delivering a, I don't know, sounded like a full semi-load of stuff. We'll start getting stuff delivered. It's just getting, again, it's just similar like Pioneer, getting stuff in and then sorting stuff out. The nice thing is with this, it's all pre-labeled as far as who's it go to, so that makes things really simple for us. Lakeshore does an awesome job doing that, so big shout out to those guys. And it's really nice that they're able to pre-mix this stuff. That way we're not mixing sugar with Quadrant or Premium Foliar with maximized manganese and sugar, so we don't have 3 totes of a product. It's just 1 tote pre-mix of a product, but you're still going to have a couple of totes of that pre-mix, obviously. But it just makes handling so much easier all around for everybody. Look really nice. Nice thing is I don't have to go far to take this to the neighbor because the neighbor is literally right up the road. Works out really well. We do need to get that burnt and we need to get the plow eventually, but Grandma's farm is officially done. Well, we are trying to get the sprayer tractor started, and the batteries, for some reason, are completely dead in it. So we're working on trying to get that started. We actually had Barry out yesterday, and we have him going up to Helena right now to swap out some 2,4-D for us and get up and get a few other things that we need. And we're gonna at least try and get the planter finished up today and work on the fertilizer tender and do a few other things today. Alright, I'm on a mission down to John Deere down at Knox to go get 2 new batteries. Dad's looking for Firestone front tires for the sprayer and can't seem to find them whatsoever. We called down to La Crosse, down at Firestone. They can't get them for some reason. They're going to do some looking and see what they can find though. And we called up the Schaffners up in LaPorte, and they're looking also to see what they can find. I really hope we can get that size tire because that's really what we need on that sprayer. So, And those tires on that sprayer definitely are pretty well close to being shot on the front. We replaced the back ones 5-6 years ago, I want to say 4 or 5, well, around 5 years ago. Put Michelin's on the back. Wow, those tires on the back are really nice. Well, that is a no-go on the battery hold-down bolt. They did not have one. Got one ordered though. Should be here tomorrow at the end of the day. At least that's when the van's supposed to be there. So that's good. Got one coming, and we can make do without it. At least since we're not going to be spraying anything between today and tomorrow. Wow, look at that. That is cool. Got the batteries though, so that's good. Get that tractor started and brought over to the farm at least. We got new nozzles coming for it tomorrow, hopefully maybe today. They're coming from Daltmeyer's, so usually Daltmeyer's within about 2 days, especially even when they're coming from Nebraska, which really surprises me. So shipping from them is fantastic. So hopefully by the end of the day, if not tomorrow, we'll get nozzles for it. Like I said, we're not really too concerned about getting stuff sprayed the next couple of days, but we want to get the sprayer ready to go when we're ready to pull the trigger on some weeds. Looks like Barry's back, and he's got all the 2,4-D in the trailer. That's good. This day has been all over the place. We got the sprayer out. I'm not really going to say anything about what... It's kind of interesting about the sprayer right now. I'm not going to say anything, but pretty interesting is all I'll say. And of course, our typical luck. I was putting the valve back on underneath the cone bottom here, and as you can see, we do not have an elbow fitting no more. That's because the elbow fitting cracked. Yeah, so I wonder, I can hear my phone ring. I wonder if that's who, hold on. So yesterday, Barry and I tightened up the elbow fitting that you do not see under there. That's because when I was putting in the valve today, the elbow fitting cracked, so I had to crawl back underneath there. Believe it or not, I'm able to get underneath the underside of the tank, completely 100% of my body under there. Don't ask me how I can do that, because when we had to tighten one of these fittings before, I just laid across this beam there and really hurt my back. But this time, I don't know, with the tank jacked up a little bit, I was somehow able to get under there. So Dad is on his way to Valpo right now to get a stainless fitting. Hopefully we can get this together today, but knowing our luck, I mean, I don't know, it just seems to be all over the place again. Typical, you know, day like what we always have around here. We figured out how to get a 43-inch diameter tank into a 42-inch diameter hole. Does not matter how we did it. All I can say is that we had the help of the excavator and we got it in here. And also Barry. Barry was here that day. And Barry was here earlier today. And Barry was here yesterday. Barry's been a huge help. This tank is pretty well good to go. Now I'm going to work on figuring out what we're going to do to mount the auto batch pump on the wall here. And I'm thinking about putting a T and having a valve there with a hose that goes down with a valve between the two pumps, the 2-inch and the 3-inch. And that way we can fill this tank from the ground and have a valve on the end of the pump. That way when we undo this pump, there's not a whole bunch of fertilizer that comes out of the pump. We can close the valve, and that way it doesn't drain all inside here. So thinking about that, nice thing is we already have the hole cut to bring hoses down there if we wanted to, so we can run another hose down there. It'd be 2-inch. I believe we have 2-inch down in the barn, so I don't know. First, I just want to get this tank done. This tank has been a pain in the rear ever since we've gotten it, but it's really awesome. So Enduraplast tanks. All of these are Enduraplast tanks, except this guy. This guy's a Plastic Mark tank. Well, actually, it's from Plastic Mark, but it's a Norwesco tank. So I'm just glad to see this thing in here. I did not know how we were going to do that, but we got it. That's all that matters. So to say the past 48 hours have been hectic is to say the least. It's been a little insane. The planter is, I would say, 99.9998% done. I think on the other side, oh, that fitting's done. So what we ended up doing, we put 45s on here, because last year, you guys remember when we were filling this with 3-inch, with that hose, we had a tarp strap up here pulling down. Oh, hello there. You just came out of nowhere. How's it going, Bela? So we had a tarp strap up here to help support it. And here comes the other one. Hey, Axel. So this year, we decided to put a 45 on it to help take some stress off that. And we got 45s on both sides, obviously, because we have the ability to fill from both sides of the planter. We put new O-rings and tore these all apart and put new O-rings in all the red balls on both sides. We do have all the meters switched, so all the corn meters are back in this box and all the bean meters are all on and ready to go. Got the globe installed, got the monitor, at least a 2630 installed, and all the planting data and software on there. We actually do not do any planting data whatsoever on the 2630, just because our planter is old enough that it still needs the brown box. So there is a way we can convert that. I think for like $3,500 we can run it all through the 2630, but as of right now we have no intentions of doing that. So that's why I need to get the 2020 monitor in there today. Literally all I have to do is just mount it on the bracket, plug it in, and swap varieties and make sure the 2020 data is cleared, because I know I have it on my computer as a backup, but I just got to make sure it's still not on there. That way we're not adding to 2020 and it's switched over to 2021. That has been interesting the past 48 hours. Nothing's wrong with it absolutely whatsoever, but you guys will be seeing some interesting videos coming very soon on that. To get our in-furrow mixed up and ready to go, we're going to get that pumped in there and also make our soybean in-furrow, which is premium in-furrow but without 1034L, but we got to cut it with water to get it up to the 3 gallon to the acre rate that we do with the in-furrow in 1034O, like what we do on the corn. More than just 2 fields of 30-inch row beans this year. So, and the only reason we're doing this is because we want to be able to wide drop them with the side dress applicator, which that has become very interesting in the past 48 hours too. So again, you guys are going to be seeing some interesting videos about that, the side dress applicator, and our 4230 sprayer setup that we've used for over 25 years now. Barry did an awesome job yesterday. He didn't wax it because I was actually hoping to wax it this winter, but he found this can of Amsoil, I think it was like Quick Spray-On Wax or Miracle Wax or something, and it really brought out the shine and sheen in this, and it looks really nice now. But it really needs a good wax job, but that looks really good for now, so looks really sharp. Ready to take on plant 21. Alright, change of plans here. We're gonna get a load of scrap loaded up here, and I think scrap might be around 200 bucks a ton still, but we're gonna get the wood burner out of here and a few other things out of here and get this place cleaned up a little bit. So the only thing we got done today that we actually wanted to do was we got the nozzles on the sprayer, which I'll be talking about that in a little bit here. But we ended up having to fix a leaking sight gauge hose, which there was actually a pinhole hole in the very bottom part of this hose. Not the main hose, but it would be, it's not this hose because this is a new hose I cut to length, but well, and you guys really can't see it without me getting up in the trailer because our micronutrient tank is blocking it. But so we had to pump all the 1034O that we were going to mix with the in-furrow, or mix for our in-furrow mix, into this tank. That way we can keep that tank clean for our wheat top dress. I also took the skid steer down to Grandma's, picked up a plow down there, and brought the 730 back. That plow's been sitting down there, I don't know, for 6 years now, but we've used that over the years for land clearing. So when we get done clearing the woods down there, or a section of woods, we'll go through and plow it. And that's only just because when we were running anhydrous, we wanted to just make sure that we got all the roots out. Now, since we're not running anhydrous, the only thing that goes in the ground now is essentially the planter. So since we're completely done down there in the woods and we didn't even need the plow this past year, we just wanted to get the plow brought back home to where we have it over there on the ditch bank over by our house. So got that picked up, brought the 730 back. So with that, I'm going to keep you guys guessing, and thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe down below. I know this video was really drug out, really all over the place. So now, the sprayer. So this has been quite an interesting subject, and the only thing that this thing will be doing this year is a little bit of burn down spraying. After that, something new and improved is coming, and it's coming from Nebraska. So obviously it's a sprayer, but as far as what we got and size, model, make, whatever, you guys can guess down below. But this thing will no longer be on the farm after this season. Dad's ran this for around 25-ish years, I want to say, give or take. Dad completely custom built all this, so the 60-foot boom, the 4440 high crop assembly on the 4230, the Ag Chem tanks. These saddle tanks were actually on the front of the 4650 back in the late 80s. That's when we first bought them, and we actually bought them used back then. And we had saddle tanks on the 4650. We had a bridge hitch on the planter that we worked ground with in front of the planter, and then we planted. So we did basically everything all at once, and I think either Dad did that for a year or maybe 2 years, maybe at the most, and then decided that spraying and everything with the plant, you know, having chemicals on the planter besides liquid fertilizer was just way too much, and he ended up going to this. So like I said, as far as what we're going to upgrade to, you guys can place your guesses down below. And as far as this big guy, I know I've been talking about this before in previous videos about the what we're going to do for a spray tender. Just because we are upgrading sprayers now doesn't mean we are actually going to do anything with the spray tender right now. There's absolutely zero time whatsoever to even think of making a spray tender right now. So one heck of a time for us to upgrade sprayers, right? I know, we weren't planning on doing this. So I'll be doing a lot of the spraying this year, so that'll be fun. And we're actually considering doing some other changes that's regarding to the 28 applicator related to the sprayer, this new sprayer. So a lot of cool things. Whether we actually do it this spring or we wait till next spring to do those changes related to that 28 applicator, that's still up in the air yet. But irregardless, something will be happening with the 28 applicator in the future. Again, either this year or next year. I'm really sorry, but it's just been really hectic for this filming of this video just because of everything that's been going on, and now this, and you know, it's been hard to film for this specific video. So, but with that, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe down below. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and Snapchat. And I will catch you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.